Hi lovelies, this is Blossom. So I hope you had a wonderful time exploring the underworld. So let me know how that went. And maybe by now you do it already all on your own without my guided journey. So how does that go? I would really love to hear from you. So we came to a crucial point in this course. You have really the basics, you have a solid foundation, and everything we do now is much more of a discussion other than me, giving you whatever I did there. Teaching? No. I don't know, whatever I gave you. It's more of a discussion. Let's have a look together at different things. And this chapter is about, or is called, Is It All Real When Doubt Creeps In? And this is not only an issue we will come across when we work with fairy, but everything spiritual. So this can include every spiritual or even religious belief. And I think everybody who is on a path like that will have to face the fact that maybe it's not all real. Maybe I just imagine everything, right? So when you meditate a lot, or when you go on journeys a lot without having a good connection to the land, and really the importance of grounding, I mentioned it, I will mention it again, it's so important. You may have difficulties to distinguish between what is real and what is an illusion. So we do see that in the New Age community a little bit. I don't want to throw everybody in one pot, for sure not, but what I could observe over the years now is that there are many who seems just to float and everything is good and the deep connection to the earth is really missing, and especially on the fairy path, it's such an earth-based practice. It is important to connect with the earth energies and ground yourself and so on. So if you are at a place where you are not sure anymore what is real, what do I imagine, I always advise to go back to the basics, go back to the elements, do these exercises again, because journey work can be confusing, and everybody who says different, I don't know, I don't agree. No, then really go back to the basics. Like do maybe the exercises, not necessarily the guided meditations, but the exercises suggested for the elements. So that's where you start. That is why it was so important for me to start there, even if it might be even too basic for some people, but it is such an important part of the work we do, right? But I also want to say, if you are in doubt and you question yourself, your path, you question if fairy is real, I actually congratulate you, because you look deeper. You are a seeker. You want to explore, and you don't just take for granted what is said to you. And this is good. This is good. This is always good. I always like people who are maybe a bit skeptical. I'm skeptical myself. Says she who teaches about the fairy realm. But I've seen. So that is a good thing. And it can be difficult, the whole thing, right? Because if you question fairy, it also depends on the rest of your belief system, right? So what is the world for you? What is the meaning of life for you? We have many theories running wild. How came the earth to existence? So religions always will different religions will give us different creation stories. but not only religions. For example, many years back I watched that that movie on YouTube about an alternative history of mankind. What is it called? Suppressed history of mankind. I give you the link in the lesson, in the text. I will talk about it. And yeah, it's just a theory. They don't say at all this is how it was, but it is definitely an interesting theory. So a lot of alien stuff in there, and 17-meter high people. I love it. And yeah, we have so many, and the longer we dwell in that spiritual world, the more we will explore. Like, for example, I just give you an example here. It has nothing to do with fairy, but I think it's interesting nonetheless. The idea of chakras. So either, for example, you believe in it or you don't believe in it. Some say you couldn't even live without them. And then there is one part, it was a while back, so it's a year or 2 years back that I started seeing this, where people start to remove their chakras because there is a group of people, a community, who thinks that aliens planted the chakras in us to control us. And it doesn't matter if I believe that or if you believe that, but you see where our minds sometimes go. Even, you know, like I said, I think I was highly entertained by it because I thought, why not? It could be. But that's what I'm saying. There are so many possibilities and so many theories out there, and I like watching those things. I really do. And I feel like I'm, you know, especially in this community, chakras are very important, and I shouldn't probably even have said that now, but it's, like I said, it's not necessarily my belief that aliens planted them in us and that we have to remove them now. Yeah, still interesting. I find it interesting. And as soon as I pick something like that up, I start Googling and watching other people's videos, and yeah, I like that stuff. Because from there, when we think about that, did aliens put that on us? You can also think, what is our creation story now, right? Did aliens put us here on Earth? And what is with the evolution theory? What's happening there? Then we come to the topic of Atlantis and Lemuria, right? So there is so much to discover. And when in doubt, you can also ask yourself, how do you see the concept of deities, for example? Is there for you one big creator? Or are there many gods? Or is there one creator and then there are many gods and then we people come? And where does fairy fit in there for you? You can think about these things a lot. So in short, to answer the question, is fairies real? How it is simply you have to see how do you see the rest of the world, right? And is fairy something that we've created with our minds, or was it before there, long before us? Same question for gods, for deities. Did they exist before us or did we create them? But in general, you can see if you want to understand or to experience fairy, it doesn't work with your logical side of the brain. And I'm not saying leave out your intellect, not at all, please. You can definitely combine science and fairy. And I just thought of a book now. I forgot to mention that in the written lesson. So I'm still gonna write that down, hopefully, and remind myself now. And I will put it in the description box where somebody tried to, you know, link science and fairy a little bit. I read that book a while ago, so what is the author's name? I will put it below or in the text, I don't know. Hopefully you think about it. But to experience fairy and the exercises, we have to be really open-minded and open our hearts. I said it, you will see and experience fairy through your heart. Yeah, that's it. Something else we then often hear is, or that we are often being told, is that our perception is truth, how we see it. But I disagree. I think just because we have a certain perception of it, it's not a truth. And I think the most important part of being a spiritual seeker on any path is to find truth and not just go with whatever comes to our mind and saying that our perception is truth. Like I say, I'm not here to tell you how the world works, because everybody has to figure that out on their own, by looking for the truth. And even if somebody would tell you the truth, the one and only truth that is out there, you can still not really go by that because you haven't experienced it like that yourself. You have to look for it yourself. You have to find the truth yourself without making anything up. However, if you are here at this course, sorry, I just rambled along now. This is not really good. If you are here, there is a chance that you believe in fairy, right? You wouldn't be here otherwise, I guess. You wouldn't waste your time otherwise. But doubt can still creep in every now and then. And I think what is important then is to bring in enchantment back into your life. I think we lost the sense of wonder and enchantment and magic. And this is what fairy is about. It is time for us, we need to embrace the true joy, the moments of true joy. Often it just passes by, you know. We don't even acknowledge that anymore, and we don't stop and let it fulfill us anymore. And this is what fairy is for me and for many others as well. So believe that magic and enchantment still exist in our world. It can sometimes be tough, I agree. Understand that the fairy realm is much more fluid and less fixed than our physical world. And then there is also the matter of our own personal filters, right? We have our own filters, and this will influence how we see and how we perceive fairy or the fairy realm and the beings, you know. That's why we also there will also always be a discussion about how do fairies look like, and some will see the cute little winged beings, and others will see majestic, tall Tolkien elves, right? And everything exists. Sorry. So if you are in doubt if it's real or not, did you make a real contact or not, I would also say it is important to be honest with yourself. So if that being, whatever form it takes, tells you exactly what you want to hear, I would be skeptical. If it's something, you know, you would even use in your own words for yourself to make you feel comfortable, that would be the case where I would have doubts if it's not something just that I made up. I think in my experience, they can be very blunt, so it's not all warm and cozy. So how is it in your experience? How did you experience until now the fairy beings? How do they look like? How do you see them as very embracing, or do you see them a bit more like me, that sometimes they can be blunt, which is not necessarily a bad thing. I think I definitely do need that sometimes. I think that also maybe you need to know is that they will not always be too concerned about your well-being. So when you, let's say you had a very stressful day, that's not really one of their concerns. They will not be over worried about you having a stressful day, you know. It just always remember that you work for a mutual goal, and this is not necessarily to de-stress you after a hard day. So maybe that's then also something you want to, explore a little bit, when in doubt, if it's real or if you made it up. However, that doesn't mean that they will never help you in one of your everyday matters or anything. You see, so fairies. I had very, very mundane. That's the thing, we discussed it, right? We cannot share everything, right? And I am a strong believer in that we shouldn't share everything. But I had like very mundane worries, nothing dramatic, not at all. And then help of fairies swept in where I never expected help, right? So it is difficult to distinguish that. However, what like I said, I cannot give you here that is true, that is wrong. You have to figure that out for yourself. But I would love to open a discussion here. So if you want to add anything here, please feel free to leave a comment or to write me an email. And it's just to give you a little food for thought. Yeah, so that's it. So thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And see you next time. Bye bye.